The Egyptian civilization always reveals something new with every archaeological discovery, as it is a science that never ends. Recently, the Ministry of Tourism, Antiquities and Antiquities announced about the discovery in Taposiris Magna, west of Alexandria, where 16 tombs were found in rock-cut tombs, which were common in the Greek and Roman eras. A number of mummies were discovered inside these tombs, but they were poorly preserved, and that was in Taposiris, in the city of Alexandria. One of them is on a mummy with a tongue made of gold, and the question here that we directed to Dr. Al-Hussein Abdul Basir, an expert in Egyptian antiquities, and director of the Antiquities Museum. What is the reason for the golden tongue that was found inside the mummy's mouth? The reason for a golden tongue inside the mouth of the mummy is the presence of such an amulet, which is to enable the deceased to pronounce in the trial of the dead before the god Osiris, Lord of the Dead, Lord of the Underworld and President of the Court. Dr. Al-Hussein Abdul Basir explained, the purpose of using gold is that gold was the flesh of the gods, and it was also a symbol of the sun god Ra, who represents the day or the sun of the day, while Osiris was the master of the world of gold and night or the world of darkness. The deceased to conquer the world of darkness at night and to pass the trial of the dead in peace in the presence of the god Osiris, the master of the other world and the lord of the trial of the dead. Among the most prominent mummies were two that preserved the remnants of the scrolls and parts of the cartonnage layer. The first had remnants of gilding and gilded decorations showing the deity Osiris, the god of the other world, while the other mummy wore a crown of Atavs decorated with horns and a cobra at the forehead, while at the chest of the mummy a gilded decoration appeared. The wide necklace, from which the falcon's head hangs, represents the symbol of the god Horus. The archaeological discovery included some burials, which are skeletons and mummies that were flogged with gold on the bone directly under the linen rolls and the glues used in embalming, as well as the remains of wooden coffins on the human form, and a number of copper nails used in those coffins. The site of the Quarry Cemetery is one of the most important archaeological sites in the Delta, and according to the Ministry of Tourism, the cemetery includes burials dating back to multiple eras that were used for long periods of time as cemeteries for the two regions. The historical and archaeological value of the cemetery is due to the diversity of burial methods, the presence of a rare cemetery for the burial of sacred birds, and a number of architectural units that. The archaeological expert pointed out that the ancient Egyptians valued life and believed with the idea of resurrection and immortality. This led them to start preparing for their death in advance because they believed that even after death, life would go on and they would still need physical bodies for that. The main purpose of mummification was to keep the bodies as close to their natural state as possible, which is important for preserving life in the eyes of the Egyptians. The mummified body contained the soul of the ka. He noted that it was believed that the soul might not enter the afterlife if the body perished. For this reason, grave preparation was an important ceremony in Egyptian culture. The process of preparing for the afterlife also involved storing belongings including furniture, clothing, food, and jewelry long before an individual died. He added that the ancient Egyptians used linen to wrap mummies for their sanctification of him, believing that Osir was wrapped in it after death, and after wrapping it in linen wraps, the body is placed in hot sand to help the embalming components preserve the integrity of the body, and we find that gold was used in the beautiful sculptures of the pharaohs, and it was allocated to senior statesmen, and burial. The pharaohs had gold with them, and the pharaohs did not worship gold, but they sanctified the golden color, which symbolized the color of the sun's rays. He explained that the gold industry among the ancient Egyptians was associated with the doctrine of immortality, because its color does not change with the passage of time, and the gold industry was one of the most important Egyptian crafts, as gold was associated with funerary rites and beliefs, and gold in the pharaonic civilization occupies a great importance in social life and rituals of death and life, hence the many pictures of gold industries, and the upper coffin covers for kings and nobles were made of the material, and each coffin was engraved and studded with precious stones. He concluded, as for the material for making the coffin, it varies between wood or stone, and for senior statesmen, gold or silver is used, to reflect the blessings of the god Ra on their immortal bodies and souls, according to their beliefs, and the ancient Egyptians did not neglect covering the face of the deceased with funeral masks of gold, which are covers for the face wrapped in linen, and the manufacture of the mask and its raw materials differed according to the stature of the owner of the face and his position in the state, so the use of gold in masks was limited to the wealthy and the upper class, and those masks began to be used since before the dynastic era.